Good morning. One more good morning. Good morning, staff and residents. My name is Chris Caius. I'm president of the Kane County Forest Service, and I'm calling this meeting of the Executive Committee to order on Thursday, June 6th, 2024 at 8:30 a.m. Can we have a roll call, please?
Caius,
Caius present.
Bates, Berman,
Berman's here.
Kenyon,
Here.
Lewis,
Lewis here.
Molina,
Molina present.
Sanchez,
Sanchez present.
Strathman,
Strathman here.
Pepe.
Pepe here.
Hey, you have a quorum?
Yes, we have a quorum. Great. And I will ask for unanimous consent, or would someone like to ask for unanimous consent for the approval of the minutes? Mr. Kenyon asked for unanimous consent for the minutes of May 9th, 2024. Is there any changes or objections to that? Hearing none, the minutes are adopted or approved. And is there any public speaking this morning? Anybody in person, online? I know we have a special guest down there. She's not. Yeah, nope.
She's looking
forward to and be done this month.
All right. A participant. Excellent.
And her other comment is the cupcakes are very good.
Very nice. Very good.
Which is echoed by Bill Roth. How many of them can you get in a short period of time, Bill? Eat?
No,
Never mind.
I'm on a restricted diet.
I saw it.
Yeah, he's on
I have one.
seafood.
One and done.
Eat them that fast.
See, and
It's
eat.
pure calories. All right. Must be that kind of morning. Item 4, presentation approval of the bills, commissioners per diem. I'm going to have a motion in a second
I
to
would vote
present,
that.
potentially approve the commissioners per diem and bills from May 2024, moved by Kenyon.
Berman second.
Berman seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
All, motion passes. That's TMP 2420. And then on to finance, we have a motion and a second for TMP 242395, a resolution approving a responsible outdoor lighting policy. Did Pat-
Sanchez moves.
Okay, that's Sanchez moves, Strathman seconds, and that's Pat Chess.
Hi, yeah, good morning. So what we have here before you for your consideration is what would be the district's first responsible outdoor lighting policy. Preserving the night sky has a lot of varying values to us. So there's a lot of kind of anthropocentric values in terms of saving energy and just preserving the ability for people to see the night sky, right? We've seen that recently with a bunch of kind of nighttime phenomenon happening with the northern lights coming through. But kind of paramount to us as a conservation agency are the benefits that the night sky has for wildlife. And so there are a large suite of nocturnal animals that live in our preserves and in our area. And having these kind of bright nighttime lights present and light pollution present at night is really detrimental to those populations. Kind of the large example that happens every year is that thousands of birds in the Chicagoland area die during their migration. So a lot of them migrate at night. Bright lights confuse them. It can throw off their kind of migration patterns. At best, that just kind of veers them off course and lowers their fitness. But at worst, it draws them directly into buildings and they run into windows and die. And so thousands of those events happen every year in this area. There are other examples of kind of nocturnal animals being affected by light pollution as well. It can throw off breeding habits of our amphibians, right? Our frogs and toads will sing at night. If it's too bright, that confuses them, they won't sing. You'll see it very easily with insects getting trapped at lights, right? They're drawn to light sources and that's a fatal attraction for them. So it's something that we're looking to reduce the impacts of light pollution that we have within the preserves. And so what we've done here through the creation of this policy is we've looked to Dark Sky International. That's kind of a recognized worldwide authority combating light pollution. They do have a dark sky approved certification process for lighting elements. And so we've taken those principles, we've taken their kind of certification standards that help to ensure that lighting is useful, targeted, low level controlled and warm colored. And we put those like kind of equivalent specifications into our policy. And that would apply for district new construction or any remodeling going forward. The policy does not affect currently existing outdoor lighting. But what we would be doing to kind of get at that is that we've been talking with our environmental sustainability team, and we'd be looking to have those staff go out, conduct a light audit. So all of our existing lighting that is on at night, creating a list of those lights that would not, don't currently meet that specification, so that we have a punch list that we can kind of work at over time. And so right now we are recommending going forward with approval of this policy, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Okay, one question, anthropocentric?
So just human focused, yeah. Sure.
I just like
Sorry.
saying it, anthropocentric.
You did good too.
Yeah, if you slur it a little bit, it comes out okay. Any questions for Pat? Mr. Roth?
Roth here. When you said you were going to do an audit, do we have an audit of how many of our lights are LED versus non? And could we include? the audit
We
to
could include that in the
identify
audit. Yeah, we don't have.
I mean, because
we
there's
have that information.
there's a huge cost savings, 20% or more.
Yeah, and as we'd be looking to remodel, that's something that we
Yeah,
could
yeah.
be looking to change over. Yep.
And it pays for itself fairly quickly. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Mr. Roth. Anybody else? Okay, then let's have roll call.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Yes.
Tepe.
Deputy, yes.
It's approved.
Motion passes. May I have a motion and a second to present potentially approved TMP 242399, a resolution approving the surplus vehicle and equipment disposal. Moved by
Deputy.
Tepe, second by
Kenyon.
Kenyon. And Melissa.
Morning.
Okay.
So on the screen here, and also included in the agenda packet, is a list of 16 items, including vehicles and equipment that we're asking you to consider today. These items come from the various departments within the district. And so what we are seeking this morning is the committee's approval of these items as surplus and authorization to dispose of these items via the online auction service publicsurplus.com. The surplus auction process allows the district to dispose of unneeded inventory while recuperating the remaining financial value of these items. The district has been using publicsurplus.com since 2013, and that platform has enabled the district to realize the estimated values of those items and definitely offers a more widespread attention to those items. So on this slide here is the activity in 2023. The district listed 9 items for sale and brought in just over $32,000. You can see the number of bids and the sale amount on the screen there as well. So any revenue generated by the auction of these items is slated for the sale of material account in the general fund, and the account number is 0100003070. So I can answer any questions.
Any questions this morning?
Yes,
Ms. Strathman?
Yes, Strathman here. How does the auction work? Is it online? It is online.
It is online. So these items are approved. Anna, our buyer, would list these. We typically have an auction period of 2 weeks. Once the winning auction, or once the item closes and the winner has been notified, Public Surplus will collect payment, and then they will disperse that to us via ACH. They also notify Anna that the payment has been received, and then she coordinates with the buyer to pick up the item.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. Any other questions? In that case, roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Yes.
Tepe.
Yes.
It's approved.
Motion passes. On to planning and utilization. May I have a motion to present and potentially approve TMP 242246, a resolution approving a contract with V3 Companies Limited for professional resident engineering services for removal of the Carpentersville Dam, moved by
Sanchez move.
Sanchez, second by
Berman, second.
Berman. And we have Jennifer Rooks Lopez.
All right, good morning, everyone. So the contract you have in front of you is with V3 Companies. It's for the professional resident engineering services that includes construction, observation, and administration during the removal of Carpentersville Dam. As you might remember, in 2015, the district entered into an IGA with the Illinois Department of Natural Resources for a project known as the River Obstruction Removal Project. That included both the Fabian Causeway removal and the Carpentersville Dam removal. And in that 2015 agreement, IDNR agreed to pay $3.5 million for the removal of both of those, of which, after the Fabian removal, we have $2,510,796 remaining. As a condition of the agreement, IDNR requires that the district establishes a contract for COCA, which is basically that means that there will be an engineer on site for at least 75% of the time that the dam is being removed to kind of be a control point of that. With that, since V3 Companies is the engineer who designed the dam removal project for us, we worked with the IDNR, had them review the contract and agreed that it was probably best to move forward with V3 Companies as the COCA since they're intimately familiar with the construction drawings. As some of you may know, demolition quotes were bid earlier this month, but IDNR came back and rejected all of those. So they are back out, or I shouldn't say this month, last month. We are officially June now. They officially went back out to bid on Tuesday of this month. And hopefully we will get those back in front of the board for full commission approval in July, if not August. But again, that will depend on the IDNR approving those contracts as well. So back to this particular project, funds totaling $2.5 million were budgeted in this year's budget for the engineering and demolition of the dam, of which $2,184,875 remain in our budget. But again, as a reminder that the IDNR will reimburse the district 100% of the dam removal and engineering costs up to $2,510,796.68 under the grant. So staff recommends approval of the contract with V3 Companies out of Woodridge, Illinois for professional resident engineering services for the removal of Carpentersville Dam for a total amount not to exceed $106,570.
Okay, any questions for Jennifer? I think we keep hearing this sort of ad nauseum over and over again.
We're getting
Next step, back one, two, the back one. But, okay, roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Molina, Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Yes.
Pepe.
Deputy, yes.
Okay, it's approved.
Motion passed. May I have motion and a second to present and potentially approve TMP 242397, a resolution approving a bid for the Buffalo Bruner Family Forest Preserve Site improvements.
Sanchez moves.
Moved by Sanchez, second by Kenyon. And Jennifer Brooks Lopez again.
All right, good morning again. So the next project in front of you is for the Buffalo Bruner family improvements. This was originally budgeted back in 2021, 2022 as part of an agreement between KDOT and the district when they did the Long Meadow Parkway extension. So funds totaling 625 were allocated in the 21 budget for the construction of a shelter, a bathroom, some revisions to the parking lot. There's the creation of a sled hill or the resculpting of a sled hill that's left over from the spoils of the Long Meadow Parkway, and some drainage and trail improvements on the limestone trails that we have out there. Additionally, this year we did allocate an additional $100,000 in the 24-25 capital budget to help cover some of the cost of this since this is such an older project. And as a reminder, KDOT is contributing $625,000 for this project as part of that agreement in 21-22 for the Long Meadow Parkway. The district conducted a formal bid process for the improvements. Bids were publicly advertised with 4 bidders responding. The responsible lowest bidder is Midwest Excavators LLC with a base bid of $603,724.60. Additionally, staff is requesting $15,928.46 to be set aside as a contingency to cover any unanticipated costs that may come up during construction, for a total project cost not to exceed $619,653.06. So funds totaling $725,000 were budgeted for this project, of which $569,653.06 remain after the paying of the engineering costs. And we also did a pre-purchase on this shelter. So typically there's a delay time on shelters. They can take 3 to 4 months to get in. We were hoping to do this project last year, and so we pre-ordered the shelter. So the shelter is already here and ready to go under construction. However, we do have $50,000 in savings from a previous engineering project over at Brunner that we're going to reallocate to this project, which brings our total up. Let's see, cover the remaining, that will cover the remaining balance of the expenditure. The district has received $500,000 to date from KDOT, and we expect the remaining $125,000 to come from KDOT once we finish the project. So staff recommends the committee approve the base bid Midwest Excavators LLC for the Buffalo Brunner Family Forest Preserve site improvements for $603,724.60, plus a contingency of $15,928.46 to cover any unanticipated additional costs that may arise during construction in an amount not to exceed $619,653.06.
Okay, any questions for Jennifer? Mr. Raw?
Roth here. The KDOT contributed because they brought soil over from Long Meadow. Now, none of that soil was the contaminated soil, was it?
I don't believe so. That was
No,
Okay.
way before my time.
Yeah, I just want to ask the question.
Yeah.
I would hope not.
Would
no,
hope not to.
Okay.
pretty simple. No,
Thank you.
not $13 million later, it was hauled somewhere else.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Farm. We don't contaminate.
That was the shooting range.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Yes.
Pepe.
Debbie, yes.
It's approved.
Motion passes. May I have motion and a second to present and potentially approve TMP 242393, a resolution approving a bid for the installation of 2 water control structures. Moved by
Kenyon will move it.
Kenyon, second by Strathman. And Pat Chess again.
We're back. All right, so what I have here before you right now is the installation of 2 water control structures out at Burlington Prairie Forest Preserve. This is the kind of second phase of a project that we are working on. We partnered with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service Partners for Fish and Wildlife Program in order to rehydrate 2 drained wetlands on site up here at Burlington Prairie. The first of those phases was done north of the tracks. You can just see kind of the southern bit of it up in the northeast corner, right there. And so that one we did in 2023. That involved the installation of 1 water control structure onto that wetland in order to rehydrate it. And we did complete that last year. That was done at an expense of a little bit over $32,000. I did go out and I walked this yesterday in anticipation of this meeting, and it is holding a lot of water, which is great to see. And I was also seeing ducks swimming around in there, which we would typically see in the spring, but not at this time in the summer. By June, normally that would have dried up. So the water control structure is definitely working. And then I was also able to see of all those ducks, right, one of them had a little trail of ducklings following along behind her. So that habitat value is kind of immediate. The birds find these things right away and they start using them. And so what we're looking to do here is the second phase. This is down south of the tracks. This is a 170-acre kind of restoration project that we've been working on. It has a large pothole that is currently dry. It's about 8 acres of surface water that we'd be looking to create. There are 2 large drain tile lines that currently drain that wetland. So we'd be looking to install an inline water control structure into each of those lines. The way that those structures work is that you would insert boards into there. That holds the backs of the water up until it reaches a certain elevation where it can get over the boards. But by leaving the drain tile lines intact, you're able to still take on water from neighboring farm fields and allow those fields to drain. So we'd only be flooding areas lower than that elevation. And this pothole is down depressed enough in the landscape that we're able to hold water just there and not impact anywhere else tied into those lines. With the cost from the last one being $32,000, we did go out to bid for this one since it's two water control structures. We sent this out to 23 vendors. We had one respond back in, and that qualified low bid came in at $14,410. So we're getting a pretty good deal on this one compared to what we got last year. We are also recommending going forward and approving a contingency of $2,500 to add onto this. So a project cost not to exceed of $16,910. We did have funds totaling $80,000 budgeted in this fiscal year for this project, and following the completion of the first end of that project last year, a little over $47,000 remain there, which is sufficient to cover that expense of $16,910.
Okay, questions for Pat? Mr. Tepe?
Yeah, is there any way that we can use this area for wetland credits?
No.
No.
Darn.
Yeah, the issue with this one is that, the tiles that were, the wetland projects, the tiles had already blown, and so they'd already rehydrated. If we broke the rest, so that this particular map, the water goes off to the northwest. If we remove the rest of that tile line and hydrated area that's currently dry, which we can't do because we need to keep moving the water from adjacent farmers, then we could get wetland credits for it, but this isn't a good candidate. Worth asking.
So if we did what we can't do, we could do it.
Yeah, if possible, we could.
Just so I
Yeah.
understand.
Well, Cardinal Creek and Virgil Forest Preserves, there's a lot of potential there for other ones because they're currently farmed. There's miles of drain tile, and there's possibility to do what Pat was referencing, hydrate it in such a way that we wholly own the water without ticking off the neighbors.
Get busy.
Yes, yes, yeah, we're working on it. Yeah.
Guess that was a no. Okay, any other questions for Pat? All right, roll call, please.
Berman,
Herman, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Yes.
Tepe,
Tepe, yes.
approved.
Motion passes. May I have a motion and a second to present and potentially approve TMP 242394, a resolution approving a bid for the construction of an electric fence. Moved by Kenyon, second by Strathman. All right, and you're still standing, so I
Nice.
guess.
Yeah, back
Yes,
again. So the last item that I have for your consideration here should be a familiar one. This is the electric fence installation project up at Burlington Prairie that would be in anticipation of getting bison onto the landscape. You've seen this project before. We originally bid out this fence back in August of 2023. And at that point in time, our low bid came from Farmway Fencing in the amount of a little bit under $145,000. In the time since then, we had some difficulty with them securing their performance bond, and they have backed out of that contract. So we did go back out to bid to try to get another vendor in there to construct this fence. This was put out on the streets in March of 2024, and we received one bid back in at that time from ProVantage Systems. The original bid here was in the amount of $252,000. But since they were the only bidder, we were able to negotiate with them in order to drive that cost down. And the way that we accomplished that was by reducing the linear feet. So we went from the kind of original design at a little over 7,000 feet of fence to one that is now 5,280 feet of fence, and bringing that number down to $150,000. You'll see on the drawing of the fence, right, it still secures about 32 acres of area, which is sufficient to house the number of bison that we were originally trying to get out on the landscape, just on kind of a smaller area. And we'd be looking at this as kind of a first phase of construction at this point. So we'd be looking to go back in with a second phase and finish out the rest of the perimeter. That does have some advantages to it. We are locating gates along an area of the fence here where we'd be able to then move the animals between the two pastures, which would allow for us to kind of rotate grazing, allow for us to burn those areas a little easier. So having that extra internal fence wouldn't go to waste if we go through with the second phase in the future. And getting this kind of smaller fence in now does allow us to get the animals out there in the same number that we had originally been looking at. Financially speaking, we did have that $145,000 approved for this project in October of 2023, which is enough to cover the majority of this. And then about $90,000 of that would be coming from a riverboat grant. We still need, there's a little bit that's not the full amount. We're also looking to add a $15,000 contingency onto this, so a total not to exceed $165,000. And the way that we'd be looking at getting that money is because the project that we just saw, the pothole creation project, came in so low that leaves about $30,000 remaining in that account. So we'd be looking to transfer some of those savings at a little over $20,000 over here in order to largely cover the contingency for this project. So at this point in time, we are recommending going forward with approval of this bid from ProVantage Systems and hoping to get that fence constructed this summer.
Okay, any questions for
Yeah.
Pat? Yes,
Do
Mr.
you have
Kenyon.
a visual of what the fence would look like?
We can, yeah, so we've got the construction drawings of what the specs will look like.
6 foot?
And we can get those. I don't think they're in the packet, but we can get those
I
in.
think in your specs, you had USDA diagram showing
Yeah,
exactly what,
that's
maybe we
right.
could have that for full.
Mhm.
And of course, it'll be solar operated.
It will.
The
Solar,
Mavis-
yes.
The Mavis fence. Yes.
For, okay,
Yes.
okay.
Gums, I have a
Yes,
question.
Ms. Gums online. Go ahead.
It's actually not a question. Ben and I have had this conversation, just a statement. I would just like to say that this is an ugly fence. I don't like it. I'd be happy to give more money to a fence that's more appropriate, in my opinion, because people are going to be coming here. This is going to be kind of like a touristy kind of thing, and nobody wants to look at an ugly electric fence. I'm just saying it. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. Okay,
I've
and
never seen a
Miss-
beautiful fence.
Miss Allen, do I hear you?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Miss Allen,
I appreciate that we're not going to build a barn for the buffalo in winter, but do they need like a grove or something so that in the really fierce winter weather, they have a place to huddle with some protection? Just a bison question, I guess.
I know you like to take in cats. Are you suggesting something?
Not a chance.
I'll let the
Yeah.
expert.
I mean, they are very, very hardy animals, but you'll also see on here, there is a small section of willows and trees that's interior to the fence. So they're not totally devoid of cover out there if they are looking to get under some trees.
Thanks.
And Mr. Kenyon again?
But 200 years ago, there weren't any barns for them.
That's right.
They were doing better than they do now.
Yeah,
I
that was,
noticed Elgin just got another buffalo because one of theirs died. And they had a picture of it in the paper. It's pretty cool looking. Very big interest in these.
in bison, yeah. Yeah, and just a question, from the looks of the location, and that's the entrance driveway on the upper side there, it looks like there'll be a good chance to actually see, get your eyes on the buffalo. I know I drove across most of the Midwest a couple of years ago, and even though they advertised buffalo, they were pretty hard to find because they're hard to see, but that looks like a good location.
Yeah, and that entrance road is kind of at the top of the ridge, so the field kind of generally slopes down, so you should be at a good vantage point to kind of look across that area. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the foundation was looking at putting a scope out there too.
Right, to the foundation question, to the northwest portion of the over where the amenities already are, we're looking to install what are those called? Viewers, like binoculars you see at
Yep.
National Park, so you can look get a magnified view across especially with the smaller, we were looking at 6 animals on 32 acres, but even them, they can kind of disappear, so having a viewer out there should help.
We'll make them wear flags.
Get a look,
Traditionally shy.
buggy whip.
And is Mr.
Sanchez.
Sanchez,
So we're reducing the overall size by about 25%. You're saying that's still good, that's still sufficient for them to do what they need to do and not be.
Yeah, so right, so we shouldn't be, we're still under kind of USDA stocking rate guidelines. We originally designed it so that we'd be kind of way under and allow them a little bit more room to grow, but this is still big enough for that number of animals. Yeah.
So if they procreate, we won't have to worry about it. We're not. Are we not gonna have a bull in there?
Well,
I don't remember how that was.
Artificial.
so there's some stuff we're still figuring out as far as age and gender distribution of the small herd that would come on here. But to Pat's point, we were looking at a 60-acre enclosure originally, and the first wave was 6 animals, and then we were going to do a second wave, would take it to 12 or 15, which would match. But we wouldn't do a second wave in a enclosure this small. So working with Trickster, who's part of the Intertribal Buffalo Council, which answers all those questions for us, as well as Nachusa Grasslands, who are going to be providing the animals. But there is a cap in which if they have a baby, then we're gonna have to transfer that to another herd or figure out what Trickster wants to do with them. So and McHenry did this similar model. They had 2 babies within the first year, so it's definitely something we have to consider immediately.
exciting. Red dogs. Mr. Roth,
Roth here. Can you point out what was the original fence line? Because didn't we go all the way to the road?
I think it would. Yeah.
When we presented last August.
So originally, it was just kind of the rest of this
Right.
field. Yeah. So this it's kind of L shape.
And actually, I agree not having it too close to the road anyway, just one less chance of.
Yeah, the kind of the only right the road there, and then there are a couple houses as neighbors. So we always had it backed off of this property line a little bit.
Right.
Just scoots it a little bit further.
okay, any other questions?
Thank you.
My personal thanks to both the water control guys for giving us a good deal, so we got some money to put into this, and also the company that's going to do the installation of the fence for working with us and making it an affordable project that we can get started on right away. Okay, no other questions? Roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Yes.
Tepe.
Zeppy, yes.
It's approved.
Motion passes. Okay, any other new or unfinished business?
Nope.
Executive Director Haberther says no, so moving along. No need for closed session.
Maybe next month.
Executive Director Haberther says no. Communications, Lori Matanchuk, our
Good morning, everyone.
communications expert.
I've got some community affairs and general district highlights for you. Since updating our school field trip curriculum to meet next gen science standards and developing a brochure to promote our entire school offering, we've had a hugely popular, successful field trip season. Between March, April, and May, we had over 1,600 students out at Creek Bend. So it's been busy. It's been great every day, Monday through Thursday. The buses roll in and it's loud and lively there. And the natural staff does an awesome job as always. Speaking of field trips, we've been making good inroads into working with the special needs community in the past 3 months alone. We've had these agencies on screen visit for field trips, or we will go to them. Special thanks to Rob, our volunteer coordinator, and Heather, our stewardship coordinator. They've helped with some of these events, and they've just been a success all the way around. Other nature program highlights, kayaking the Fox has started up for the year, and our first program was June 1st at Oakhurst. That was the dry land instruction. You'll see they're making good use out of the relatively new shelter out there. Everybody had a good time despite the rain. And then we will move to On the River starting later this month. And then outreach programs, not all programs are at forest preserves. If you can't come to us, we will come to you. We have classroom style presentations, and that's another way that we reach our residents. And the picture at the bottom is from one of the library programs that Barb McKittrick recently gave with 40 students. And then I brought cupcakes today. It's our 99th birthday on Saturday. I did not make them. They are courtesy of Jewel. We are going to start celebrating our 100 years beginning on Saturday, even though it's the start of our 99th year. And so we are going to be using this logo on a lot of our marketing collateral. And so you'll see that in very many places. And happy birthday to us.
Yay. Thank you to all of those who have gone before that made this such a great.
So we're gonna celebrate 100 years over
Great.
the next 2 years.
Why not?
Yeah.
Just like this.
So I get this right. you know.
Yes.
Right.
It's all about money.
Always appreciate a party. Okay. As long as there's naps included, I can manage for 2 years. Okay. Do we have any other communications? That's it, Lori, okay? And then, Mr. Kenyon, anything from our foundation?
Well, we've got the golf outing scheduled and
My birthday,
I don't have right in front of me the date, but
September 12th.
it's,
September 12th.
I think it's very reasonably priced and it should have a lot of people coming to that at Hughes Creek.
Yep, sounds like sponsorships are going well. They're starting to trickle in.
And sponsorships. If you know
We could have
somebody
our
that would be interested in
Forces or
sponsoring.
Police challenge some of the other towns to a golf contest.
All right.
Not that good. Your birthday hour?
Okay.
I think it'll be a good thing. I'm glad to see it starting. It'll be a tradition.
Kudos to the foundation for putting together a couple of really good events this year, plant sale and participate from staff. And then, okay, on to president's comments, which are, thank you, staff. I redundant, the amount of stuff we're accomplishing every year, as you can see from Lori's reports, is truly exciting. And of course, then my last comment is to plug the senior stroll, which this morning is actually close enough for everybody to get to on time. It's like right over at Fabian East Forest Preserve at 10 a.m. It's a fun little walk, and they don't card, so I'm sure that you could probably sneak in at any age.
Don't forget to mention the appreciation, staff appreciation.
Yes,
Oh, yes.
I was about to forget that. Next week, on Wednesday, we're having staff appreciation. Kate and our recognition committee have done a lot of work to put a fun game on with the Cougars. So we've got one of the outer decks. We've got some all-you-can-eat buffet in there. And
Yeah, but it'll be hot dogs and.
yeah, I can eat a lot of hot dogs. Cash bar, and then yeah, should be a good time. Yeah,
Okay.
there's room for anybody, but we need a RSVP if you're interested, please.
Kenyon will donate hamburgers, maybe beef.
What time does it
Old Cal.
We're gathering at 10:30, Kate, is that right? 11?
11.
Okay, goes down at 11 and then game starts at 11:30.
Oh, it's an early game.
11:30.
And I think that's not, was one other meeting that day, I think. So some of us may be late. I'm not
4
sure.
hours of eating.
Yeah,
Long
that was
games.
it.
Come on.
We'll be there. Save us a hot dog.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's mine. Thursday.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, that's right. I didn't hear that. I'm sure Cliff didn't hear that either. We'll
Please.
try and make both of those meetings short. I think it's actually, yeah, Cliff's and then mine. I'll try and make it as short as possible. Okay, great. Thank you very much. Can we have a motion and a second for TMP 24-24-19, which is to put the reports on file? Moved by Berman, second by Kenyon. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Reports are on file, and then I will entertain a motion to adjourn, I believe.
Move we adjourn till July 3rd. It'll, 11 a.m.
Yeah, July 4th messes us up. We have a
Special,
oddball.
take note,
Yes.
July 3rd, 2024, 11 a.m.
11
You get to sleep in,
Yeah.
which we all wanted to do this
Traffic would be
morning.
better for you.
Yeah, much. It was kind of rough this morning. So moved by Kenyon, second by
That's why we did that.
Berman. All in favor? Aye. See you on the 3rd at 11 a.m.